Welcome back to JMC Live. So Miranda gets her divorce. She's free. She moves in with family. And she's able to start a new life. You want to tell us about that new life, Miranda? What that was like?
After I got away from my ex-husband, I was nearly 20 years old. And I moved back into with my dad and his parents. At that time, my great-grandmother had passed away on my dad's side, and she had left my dad a house. And my dad was living in this house, which was almost exactly right next door to my grandparents, my dad's parents. And so I moved in with my dad, and things were going much better. But the thing is, when you have been through 6 months to a year of abuse that severe, it doesn't just go away. It's embedded in your mind. And night after night, I can tell you for 10 years, I have had night terrors. I have relived the abuse just as if I was there. I have been attacked demonically. My father could hear me screaming. I can tell you right now, one night I was screaming so loudly, my father comes running into my room and he shakes me awake and he starts crying. He's got tears streaming down his face. And all he can yell is, "What did that man do to you? What did he do to my baby?" And to see my father cry like that was really heartbreaking. My father said if I wasn't a Christian, if I can't forgive him, but God can. And if it was me, if it was up to me, I would go kill him right now. But vengeance is the Lord's. And my dad just prayed, and he rebuked these demons. And for 10 years, this has been what I've gone through. These nightmares, not sleeping for days on end. Even during the day, when I would go to sleep, I would be plagued by them. I would just relive everything over and over again, and I would think I was trapped. Satan would trap me. People say if Satan doesn't get you when you're awake, he'll get you when you're asleep. And I will tell you right now, that's the only way he got me, was he could deprive me of sleep to the point where I was broken. And I was tormented day and night. And so I'm living with my father, and I'm having these nightmares. I'm trying to start my life over. And I'm talking to my grandparents there, and I'm revealing to them what's happened. And my grandma, one of the very first times she saw me again, after getting away from him, she said, "Miranda, I have to share something with you." Now remember, he told me when I was with him that he was going to kill me and bury my body in this state park woods area. And I had never told my family this yet. And so my grandmother pulls me aside one day, and we're sitting in the living room, and she said, "Miranda, while you were with him and we didn't know what was going on, I started having these nightmares." She said, "Miranda, every night I was dreaming he had killed you and buried you in the state park woods." And I started bawling, because when she said that she had had those visions that he had killed me and buried me and no one could find me, I started crying, because at that point I realized, dear God, that's how close I was to actually being murdered. Because my grandmother was having the visions that were actually happening. And I told my grandma, I said, "Grandma, he told me that he was going to kill me and he was going to do just what you dreamt." And my grandma just grabs me and she's holding me, she's crying, and she said, "Oh my God, I have no idea how you got away. It had to be God. It had to be God. It's a miracle." And so I'm trying to, get through all this. And I get my driver's license, I get a job, I'm working at a fast food restaurant, trying to move on with my life. And but I'm still being plagued by all these nightmares. And for 7 years, I'm working and saving money, and I buy my first vehicle, my truck, and I start saving money. I get involved with different churches. I start playing music again. I get to travel. My ministry starts booming, bigger than ever before. And God told me it would. And I meet a guy who becomes one of my best friends ever, and him and I start a puppet ministry together, and we start singing, we start traveling and teaching kids and doing different things, and he's one of my best friends today. And but I start praying. It'd been 6 years, Lord. It's been 6 years. And my best friend, the guy that I was doing ministry with, he had taught me how to trust again. Trust men again. That not all men were abusers and horrible people that just wanted to murder and rape women. And so I started praying. I knew my friend, I knew him and I were not supposed to be together. We were just supposed to be ministry partners and good friends. And so I started praying. I said, Lord, I'm praying for you to send me the man that I was supposed to wait on all this time. And I started telling the Lord specifics. I said, Lord, I want him, he has to be a Christian. He has to be devoted to you, God. You come first in his life. And second, he has to have a heart for missions. He has to be musically inclined. He has to play an instrument, because it's not going to work if he can't play music and sing. And Lord, I don't care if he's not perfect. I don't care if he's had a, messed up in his life. But he has to strive to be to be holy, to be righteous in your sight. And so I started praying, and I said, Lord, let him have blue eyes too. I was really specific. And for 3 years or so, I was praying this prayer, and I said, and Lord, here's the catch. And I know this is not going to work, because he has to find me, because I'm not looking. And so for 3 years out of the 7, going on 7 years that I didn't date anybody, I never kissed anybody, I had no desire to ever have sex again. I waited, and I prayed, and I did the Lord's work, and I vigilantly, stayed focused on what God wanted me to do. But at the same time, I was waiting for this guy to find me wherever he was. And on November 26th, 2006, I get a message on MySpace.com, on my profile, as a private message, and says, "Hi, I'm Jeremy. How are you?" or something like that. And I wrote back, and I said, "I'm fine." And so we started talking to each other. Now the catch is, I didn't have a picture of myself in my profile, because remember, I'm still thinking my ex-husband and this other guy that was stalking me when I was a teenager is looking for me. I still had that fear, so I had no pictures of myself. I just had an image that said, what did it say, Jeremy? I can't even remember now. It was a cross.
Christ for life.
Christ for life, and had a cross on it. And so when he saw this image, he thought, I think I might want to talk to her. And so we started talking, and I find out he plays guitar. He's been on a missions trip to South Africa, so he has a heart for missions. He's connected with Teen Mania, which I went to a lot of Choir of the Fire events and loved Teen Mania. He is from Texas, and he's in the military. Beep. I don't really want to date a guy in the military, because they the horse around and stuff. And so I was kind of, I don't know. But he sent me his picture of himself, and he sent his military picture. And so I look at his picture for the first time, and then he's in his official uniform, and I'm thinking, there's no way. He has blue eyes and everything that I asked for, and the way what I prayed for. And I said, and I thought, this guy's too good looking. Why does he want to date me? Why does he want to talk to me? And he's in California. He's 3,000 miles away. Why does a guy in California want to talk to me? But I gave him a chance, because something just said, there's something about this guy that you need to talk to him. And so we started talking, and we really start getting interested in each other, and he starts calling me. And I just remember this tonight. Jeremy and I was talking. I said, do you remember the first time you called me? And he goes, no. I said, I do, because I remember I was working with the Salvation Army, and it was Christmas time. It was, the Red Kettle campaign season. And we had been counting the money and collecting the kettles. And I remember I was leaving, and I was in the parking lot, and all of a sudden my cell phone rings, and I answer the phone, and I hear this guy go, "Hey, what you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And he goes, I said, "Who is this?" He goes, "Jeremy." And I said, "Who's Jeremy?" And he said, "From MySpace." I'm like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Why are you calling me?" That was like the first thing I said was, "Why are you calling me?" I'm all like, have this wall up. "Why are you calling me? What do you want me for?" And so we just started talking. I just kept giving him a chance after chance, and he was just a really great guy to talk to. And I really felt myself falling in love with him. Like there was this deep connection, spiritual connection. And we started...
Why don't you share with them the torture you put through me? Because I wrote in the chat, Miranda did not have a picture of herself on her profile. Within the week that I got the invite and we added each other, she sent me her music page.
Yeah.
So I was able to hear her music. That did not have a picture of herself.
Mm-mm.
She started to send me pictures from when she was a toddler.
Yeah. No, when I was born, I was a baby.
Or from when she was born to when she was a toddler to a little 5-year-old to about 8 and 10. And she did this for a whole month to me.
It was a week.
It was a week, but I didn't see an exact picture of what she looked like that day to almost a month.
Yeah.
I had something close.
Yeah. Of course, he didn't know everything I'd been through exactly, too, so I made him work for it. I'm like, if this guy really is interested in me, he'll jump through these hoops, and he'll wait. And so I'm like, he can't do nothing to me. He's in California, and I know he's legitimate because he's in the military. And he's not gonna just screw around like that and be a liar. And or at least I was hoping. But when we just started connecting, and then we started talking on webcam, and so then we really got to see each other, and we were really talking, and he started talking to my grandparents and my family, and he was really interested in my family and our history because we were in ministry. And so he was...
The interesting thing about this relationship is her grandmother had a Yahoo Messenger, and sometimes it would be either Miranda on her page or her grandmother. So her grandmother was trying to catch me and doing something wrong.
Which you
and
never
I didn't
did.
know.
And you never did anything wrong.
I never knew if it was her or not. So that Christmas, because I was in California, I wasn't able to spend Christmas with anyone. So through webcam, I sent the family gifts, and they sent me gifts. And on webcam, we opened our Christmas presents together. On Christmas Day on webcam.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, excuse me.
It was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve.
2006.
2006.
And he sent this 15-pound package. He bought gifts for all my family. And I remember my dad was like crazy over the sausage and cheese thing you sent him. He's like, "Oh my gosh, he's a great guy." And my dad was really loving him at that point because he sent him gifts and he was wonderful. And he wanted to meet everybody. And so we got on the webcam and everybody would say hi to him. And so there was not that physical touch, but there was a spiritual connection that was so deep that I never felt with somebody before. It was like the missing part of me I had found. So, Jeremy, let's take a break.
Yeah, we're going to take a break and then we'll conclude this segment. We'll be right back.